Hello again, and welcome to my character creation review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the character creation system of Blade and Soul. Now the game isn't released in the West yet, but I managed to get my hands on the Taiwanese version of the game, along with some English patches for it. But this is pretty much the final iteration of the game. I believe it is in open beta, but what you see here is pretty much what the final game is going to be. But if there are any drastic changes, I might come back and review this again, if there's any significant changes. So I'll go ahead and go through the options, and then I will give you my analysis. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my opinion of the system, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and play around with it just to give you an idea of what it's capable of and also what I'm talking about. Now, again, my rating system involves diversity, slider quality, clothing and armor, the limitations and restrictions, accessibility, and gameplay. Now I'm gonna start with accessibility. And what I mean by that is, are you required to use DLC purchases in order to get what you want out of your character, or if you have to use an outside program such as Photoshop for certain other games, like modding and things like that. And for this game in particular, with accessibility and ease of use of the character creation system program, I wanted to talk about these features such as the lighting, which isn't in a lot of character creation systems, so it definitely gets bonus points for that. So as you can see, you can have various lighting just to get the colors that you would want in different scenarios. And also, you've got outfit previews, which is pretty standard for massive multiplayer games like this one. And then, of course, there's also posing, which is pretty unique. You can see how your character would look, which is pretty great for this game since you can edit your body shape and all that, and you might want to see how it'll look in different positions. And then also you can change the background world and you get even more lighting effects. You see your character at night here. So it definitely gets some bonus points for that. And then with limitation and restriction, that includes, race lock, gender locks, and this game does have race locks. And you might be wondering, what does that have to do with character creation? Well, it is pretty important because if you wanted to make an assassin, you have to be this race, and you can't be the Gon, which are the, I guess, sort of giant class of the game. Or if you wanted to be a Lin, then you're restricted to these classes. And if you wanted to be a Summoner, you have to be one of these classes, and you have to be one of these races, I mean, and you can't, choose like a Jin Summoner or a Gon Summoner or what have you. So it does lose a fair bit of points from that, although it doesn't get too low of a score since, you know, if you don't want to be a short summoner, you can actually, you know, although it is still pretty short, you don't have to be incredibly short. I'd say that's about medium height. So if you play around with the character creation system enough, with the sliders enough, then you can get a pretty decent, close to what you would want, maybe not exactly what you would want, so it doesn't lose too many points for that. Now with clothing and armor, I usually base that on, can you choose the torso and the pants, or are they combined together? In this game, they seem to be combined together into one thing, so you can choose your entire body, and I believe you can choose gloves and feet, but I'm not entirely sure. So it does lose points for that. However, since the clothing, as you can see, it's pretty high quality. There's even some, I believe it's called havoc physics, where the cloth is flowing, even the hair. You can see that also has some physics in it. Now for slider quality, I'll go ahead and show you that it gets a pretty decent score because, as you can see, you've got a lot of different sliders here that you can play with. Now, of course, the artwork is going for like that sort of anime type of feel. It's not too realistic, but it's also not too cartoony. You can get a lot of different types of faces, as you can see here. We'll just go through some of these. So yeah, you can see some of these are a little bit more realistic than others, I would say. Others are more alien-like or anime-like. And then, of course, with the body sliders, which not a lot of games really have, which is surprising. So you can get a decent amount, which brings us into diversity. Obviously this game, as you can see, it's got a pretty wide range of characters you can create just from these default previews here. And what I also like to look for in diversity is skin color, which this has plenty of, so it gets a pretty high score because of this. And then what I also look for is hair variety. So it's a lot, not really a lot, it's a decent amount, I would say. And they even include one afro for each race and gender combo, which is not great, but it's considering this is a Korean massive multiplayer game, it's a nice addition. So even though you don't have multiple afros, or I believe there's only one dreadlock option for the Gon male race. Let's see. Yeah. So it's not too much variety in that aspect, but there is enough variety to keep it from being a super low score. So, but if you wanted to create multiple, I guess, black male characters, you would either be stuck with a hairstyle like this, or if you wanted, you could give them straight hair. It might look kind of weird, but whatever you want. So now we go into gameplay. Is the game actually worth like you? Okay, so what I mean by that is the gameplay, like if the game is mediocre, would the character creation system make up for that mediocre gameplay? Or if the character creation system were mediocre, would the gameplay make up for it? And with this game, I would say the character creation system is pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's far from the worst. I would say it's pretty decent. You can create old characters or even young characters, as you can see here. All classes and genders have this age wrinkles effect here that you can adjust. And the gameplay is actually, I wouldn't say it was quite the best. The fighting system is live action, meaning you press a button and you attack, but you have to target the enemy that you want to attack in order to play the animation of attack, if that makes any sense. Whereas in Terra Online, when you press a button, you actually attack no matter what. So if you're a melee fighter and you're far away, you can still use your swords and all your skills. So you're not really locked. Whereas in this game, it feels a little bit, I don't want to say clunky, but sort of stiff, although you can move around while you're attacking with most attacks as far as I've played. I'm not sure if that applies to ranged attacks or magic spells. But I would say the gameplay overall is like average to above average. It's not a sandbox massive multiplayer. You're gonna be everybody's basically playing the same character. You start off in a dojo or school or something, and you follow along a linear story. It might branch out as you play the game, but I haven't gotten too far. But since it's a free to play game, I would say it's pretty decent. And I'm not sure if this will include any DLC that include cosmetic items for the character creation system, but I'm sure it would include clothing and things like that. Although, as you can see here, the clothing that you do get in the base game seems pretty decent, as far as design and aesthetics go. So, for diversity, it does include an afro for all the characters, although it is just one afro and the rest of the hairs are all, straight European and Asian type of hairstyles. but it does include a lot of variety of skin colors and even facial textures, eyes, different eye colors, even makeup options for male and female characters if you want to, if you're into that. And it's got a decent amount of sliders and all that. So for diversity, I gave this a 7.5. It's not incredibly great, but it is above average. It's definitely up there as far as character creation system goes, especially for massive multiplayers. Slider quality, I gave that an 8 out of 10. You can see here is a lot of sliders. It's not painful. I've seen a lot more. I think Aeon has a lot more, and there's certainly other non-massive multiplayer games that allow you to do more with the body and especially the face. I think the face could have used a little bit more options, although, like I said, it's going for an anime type of feel, not really too realistic, but still kind of realistic. And for clothing and armor, I gave that a 6.5 just because, although the clothing does look really good, you're stuck with, like, you can't mix and match tops with bottoms, and I'm not 100% sure you can even have gloves or even helmets or things like that. So, when you pick an outfit, you're gonna look the same as other people with the outfit, and I don't believe you can change the colors of these outfits either. And we'll see, for limitations and restrictions, I gave that a 4 because, again, you can't be a Gon assassin or a summoner or even a blade master. You have to be a kung fu master, force master, or a destroyer. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, destroyer. So you can't be a Lin destroyer or a Kun or Kun destroyer. And of course, this race is gender locked to female, but that's not too big of a deal. But any kind of restriction, I give that a really low score. But not, this one doesn't get like a 1 or anything, just because the slider quality more than makes up for that, since you can be as tall or as short as you want. And these races are pretty much all humanoid. There aren't any beast races unless you count these. So you're not gonna be too restricted in your appearance. So accessibility, I gave that an 8 simply because it is a free to play game, and even if there is DLC that's required to purchase, if you want more costumes or even more hair options or any customization options, which I'm not even sure if they'll have that, just due to the fact that they have the posing, as you can see here. And then, well, I'm not sure what this is. I guess to compare yourself to the average height of other races. But you've got lighting here, which makes it a whole lot better. That gave it a boost in its score, so that's an 8 again. And for gameplay quality, I gave, compared to the character creation system, I gave that a 7.5 because, like I said, the gameplay is not terrible, it's not bad, it's pretty decent. It's not the best, but the character creation system is definitely worth it, since the gameplay is a little above average, but it's not great. But considering that you can make a lot of different good looking characters or funny looking characters, that boosted the score up. And so the overall score is about a 6.9, but I'll go ahead and just say that it's a 7 out of 10, which is pretty good, especially coming from me because I'm pretty hard on these character creation systems, since it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. Like, if I can't create a character that I want, then it's likely I won't enjoy the game as much. I know that might seem weird to some people, but I'm sure there's other people out there who feel the same way. Alright, and that's my review. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video by showing you a sort of montage of different characters that I was able to create with this system, just to give you an idea of the diversity of the characters that you can make. So I'll probably do that with like 2 different male characters and 2 different female characters. I might do more than that. I don't know, we'll see.